Hi everyone, welcome to Unacademy, live NTA UGC NET. Welcome to part 7 of IGNU MA series. Today is part 2 of research methodology, where we are going to look at some really important theoretical constructions from research methodology. But before that, please let me know whether I am visible and audible. If so, then I will start with the class. I hope all of you had already received the class update. Yes, visible and audible. Good evening everyone. Now, in today's class, we discuss part 2 of research methodology. The last class was part 1, where we looked at several important concepts, including rationalism, empiricism, etc. But before that, those of you who are in my class for the first time, my name is Antara Chakrabarty. I am your UGC NTA NET Sociology educator. Okay, and in last class, there was a small confusion regarding epistemology and ontology, and recently students also got confused with these two terms in JNU exam paper. So today's class, I thought first I will try to look at these two concepts and then we go ahead. Also a brief reminder, today's class is not going to be of 1 hour. I'll try to leave you guys early tonight. So let us first look at the image. There's a very nice image that I got, which I think summarizes the concept of epistemology and ontology really well. We will try to see those. I hope it is visible to you on my screen, the image that has come up. Please try to have a look at it and all your answers are going to be clear. Now in this side, on the left side, they have tried to keep ontology, and on the right side, they have kept epistemology. Now in this, if the first thing you see on the side of ontology, they have mentioned that it is concerned with what is true और रियल एंड द नेचर ऑफ रियलिटी, कि आपके सामने आपके आसपास जो भी चीजें दिखाई दे रही है, आर दे रियल, अगर रियल है तो वो कैसे रियल है. एपिस्टेमोलॉजी इन शॉर्ट इज द स्टडी ऑफ नॉलेज, कि आपको जो भी चीजें पता है वो कैसे पता चला. हाउ डिड यू गेट टू नो अबाउट दोज थिंग्स. डिफरेंट मेथड्स ऑफ गेनिंग नॉलेज. अब एपिस्टेमोलॉजी में कुछ लोग बोल सकते हैं कि मैं पॉजिटिविस्टिक हूँ, कुछ लोग बोल सकते हैं कि नहीं मैं हर्मेन्यूटिक हूँ. सो देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज इन विच आई कैन एक्वायर माय नॉलेज. यस, वेरी गुड. सो ऑन्टोलॉजी इज ऑल अबाउट व्हाट इज अराउंड यू, आपके आसपास क्या है, व्हाट डू यू नो अबाउट इट. And epistemology is how do you know about these things. Now, in the second part of this image, you can look at a very good example that they have provided, where they are saying that ontology asks the question, what is existence? Existence का मतलब क्या है? How do I differentiate between जो real है नहीं है? For example, जो भी चीजें आपको सामने दिखती हैं वो रियल होती है. जैसे जॉन बॉड्रिलार्ड ने कहा था कि जो भी चीजें आपको हाइपर रियल लगती है, जैसे फोन में आपको जो भी चीजें अभी दिखाई दे रही है, लैपटॉप में दिखाई दे रही है, these are all about hyper reality. So ontology would ask, what is this existence? मैं कैसे differentiate करूं hyper reality कौन सा है, reality कौन सा है. Yes, however, epistemology is nothing but what do you know and how do you know. For example, in today's JNU, in this time's JNU paper, they ask the same question, ki what do you know and how do you know. That is known as epistemology. Basically, when it surrounds around the question of knowledge, कि जो भी knowledge आपने अभी तक acquire किया है वो कैसे आपको पता चला, and how are you going to tell it, how do you know it. Okay, so this is about these two. I think your confusion regarding these two are clear. इसके साथ काफी students confused थे, but I think this picture has summarized it really well. In case you people still don't understand, you can ask me in the class. I will try to explain it again. Okay, so let's start with the class now. Just a brief reminder to those students who have not yet joined me on Unacademy Plus, you can do so now. This is my referral code antara.chak3 or simply antarachak, which will give you a 10% discount on Plus subscription, where you get the full syllabus along with the other upcoming exams. Okay, now what are these IGNU series? If you people are new to my classes, IGNU series are taken from the MA IGNU content of sociology, and it is targeted to any student who is appearing for these exams related to sociology. So it is not just related to NET. कोई भी इसे access कर सकता है. Today's class, in the last class we have looked at positivism in detail. आज के class में हम शुरू करने वाले हैं हमारा discussion with hermeneutics. Today's class we start with the discussion on hermeneutics and we understand everything about it in detail. But before we go about it, I hope all of you are currently clear about the people who are positivistic. So positivism में हमने काफी सारे लोगों के नाम लिए थे. Let me just give a brief background to those again. We had Auguste Comte, and then we had Durkheim, and also Brown to an extent, although he is from anthropology, but he follows the same footsteps as Durkheim. However, hermeneutics के बारे में हम जब देख रहे होंगे, there are several names that we will see. However, within these names, one very important name to us is that of Max Weber. Max Weber is a very important name that comes into hermeneutics. Therefore, अगर कोई आपसे पूछे कि इनमें से किसने scientific approach use किया था, तो Max Weber का नाम नहीं आएगा because Max Weber is a completely different person when it comes to methodology. So finally, when Durkheim, Auguste Comte, इन सब लोगों के theories बहुत famous थे, Max Weber ने क्या किया? He is from Germany, right? So जर्मनी में इन्होंने एक अपना ही एक बहुत फेमस किताब लिखा, that is Methodology of Social Sciences, जहाँ पे he talks about several important things. What are they? Let us see. For him, social world was composed of unique objects and singular configurations. इसका मतलब क्या है? Positivism का beginning point हमारा क्या था? What is that beginning point that we started with positivism? That everybody is alike, सब लोग universal है, hence we can apply universal laws to understand people. However, in hermeneutics this does not happen because सब लोग अलग है. सब लोग अलग अलग हैं, सबके सिंगुलर कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस होते हैं. ओके, देयरफॉर ही सेज कि हम कॉजल एनालिसिस को रिजेक्ट तो नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन वैल्यू रेलेवेंस पे विश्वास कर सकते हैं. एवरी नाउ एंड देन स्टूडेंट्स आस्क मी कि मैम व्हाट आर दीज टर्म्स, वैल्यू रेलेवेंस क्या है, वैल्यू न्यूट्रलिटी क्या है. So these two terms I will tell you now, but I want you all to pay attention so that you never forget now when I tell you. Okay, right. So in Weber, we have three terms that you people have to remember. One is value, neutrality. Another is value orientation. Another is value relevance. इनका मतलब क्या है? इन सोशियोलॉजी और इन सोशल साइंसेस द टर्म वैल्यू मीन्स ओपिनियन. आपके जो ओपिनियन है वैल्यू, ये फैक्ट नहीं है. यानी कि अगर मुझे कोई चीज पसंद आया, दैट इज माई ओपिनियन. For example, right now I'm speaking to you all in front of my laptop. So this laptop is a fact, but if I say that I don't like this laptop, तो फिर वो मेरा opinion हो जाएगा. So basically thinkers have come on to this debate. For example, Max Weber and Durkheim have come on to this debate कि क्या social sciences में अगर आप इसे real scientific बनाना चाहते हैं, क्या हम values को रखने दें या फिर values को ना रखने दें. Okay? In that context itself, Weber says that social sciences में although value neutral या फिर value free होना तो चाहिए, but this is not possible. He says it's not possible, but we should be. हम लोगों को कोशिश करना चाहिए कि when we are studying, we should keep aside our values, otherwise that are going to interfere with our study matter. Value orientation is nothing but what are your values. आपका value inclination किस तरफ है? Okay? Value orientation are nothing but what your values are. Okay? कुछ लोग positive होते हैं, कुछ लोग negative होते हैं, in those terms. Okay? However, Weber says what we can do is that कि obviously हम completely value free नहीं हो सकते हैं, completely value oriented नहीं हो सकते हैं. Therefore, what we can be is be value relevant. Now what is this? Let us see and understand what they are. Value relevance का मतलब क्या है, एक बार briefly हम समझ लेते हैं. Value relevance के बारे में वेबर ने कहा था कि ठीक है, हम scientific management रखेंगे, we will try to keep our causal analysis intact, but in the same hand we will also try to keep some values aside. So he says कि जब आप topic select कर रहे होते हो अपने रिसर्च स्टडी के लिए, तब तक आप अपने वैल्यूज यूज कर सकते हैं, पर वंस यू स्टार्ट स्टडीइंग अपना टॉपिक, तब आप अपने वैल्यूज नहीं यूज कर सकते. सो इन दिस पॉइंट ऑफ वैल्यू रेलेवेंस, वेबर गोज अहेड एंड गिव्स द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ आइडियल टाइप्स. What are ideal types? Ideal types are nothing but measuring rods जिसके थ्रू हम रियलिटी को मेजर कर सकते हैं. That's all. Ideal types के बारे में I will mention again in today's class in a later part. As of now, please remember this portion. And in case you people have any doubt regarding Weber, you can always ask, because Weber is a very important person when it comes to methodology. Now, why are we talking about Weber here? Because Weber has preached a different kind of sociology known as interpretative understanding. Okay, just give me a minute. In case you people are finding it disturbing, I'll just switch off my fan. Just give me a moment. Yes, I think it's better now. Right. So why are we talking about Weber here? Because he is somebody who has preached interpretative understanding of social sciences, जो उनके भाषा में कहते हैं Verstehen. Interpretation या फिर deep understanding is nothing but Verstehen in German. उन्होंने कहा था कि कोई भी सिचुएशन को आप जिस तरीके से पॉजिटिविस्ट्स मेजर करते हैं हम वैसे नहीं करेंगे, बिकॉज उससे क्या होता है, डिटेल का पिक्चर कुछ हमें नहीं पता चलता है. सो इट्स बियॉन्ड दैट. यस, सो इट्स Verstehen, it is deep understanding, interpretation, etc. But why are we talking about him when we are talking about hermeneutics? We are doing so because hermeneutics as a word comes from a Greek chord या फिर Greek concept जिसका मतलब है इंटरप्रीट करना. Now, hermeneutics का कॉन्सेप्ट सबसे पहले ओरिजिनेट हुआ था इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ रीडिंग बाइबल. पहले के जो हमारे रिलीजियस बुक्स होते हैं उनमें से एक हमारा बुक है बाइबल. सो पीपल सेड कि बाइबल इज सच अ बुक विच यू कैन नॉट इंटरप्रेट जस्ट ऊपर ऊपर से, आपको इसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट भी पता करना होगा. सो hermeneutics बेसिकली टोल्ड यू कि आपको सारी चीजें इंटरप्रेट करनी होगी. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड देम इन डिटेल, नॉट कि ऊपर ऊपर से जो भी लिखा है बस वही. Okay, therefore in Greek the word hermeneus means an interpreter. Now please pay attention to the last line of this page which says the father of modern hermeneutics is Schleiermacher. A lot of times people tend to confuse it with other people like Dilthey या फिर Gadamer, and there are several more such thinkers जो इसी line में आते हैं, but the father of modern hermeneutics is none of these people but Schleiermacher. Okay, so please remember it. Now, let us briefly see what Schleiermacher is telling us. He says, just as every act of speaking is related to both the totality of language and totality of speaker's thoughts, so to understand a speech always involves two moments. That is, कि context में क्या कहा गया है, as well as the thinker या फिर the speaker, whatever they are saying. इसका एक common example मैं आपको बताती हूँ. Right now, I am speaking to you in English. And I'm also teaching you. So to understand what I'm teaching you, you have to know English. And number two, you have to know what I'm talking about. Yes? So the first part is English and the second part is what I'm talking about. So therefore he says कि hermeneutics में क्या होता है, आपको context के बारे में पहले पता करना होगा. You have to know about the context as well as what is the totality. अगर आपको language ही नहीं पता तो फिर आप context समझ के क्या करेंगे? If tomorrow some French person comes and starts talking to me, मैं नहीं बात कर पाऊंगी. Although I understand कि वो इंसान मुझसे बात कर रहा है, but I do not know French. How do I talk to him? So in that regard, these people said कि अगर आपको कोई भी text, कोई भी social phenomena समझना है, you have to see it in its entirety. First, its entirety and the contextual understanding later on. Okay? Now, you have to understand that hermeneutics is exactly opposite to the positivism led by Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte ने जो भी चीजें कहा था उनमें से जो भी हमारे hermeneutic thinker हैं, the second thinker that we will talk about is Wilhelm Dilthey. He says it's exactly opposite to Comte. Why? Let us see. Dilthey's most famous book, Introduction to Human Sciences, in 1883 tells us that it was unfortunate that while human sciences had successfully freed themselves from the domination of theology, but फिर भी हम natural science के पीछे भाग रहे हैं. Religion का जो हमारा influence है वो कम हो चुका है. But then why is natural science like biology, physics, chemistry still leading us? Why are we not able to come out of that? Why are we not able to make a science beyond these kind of natural sciences? Therefore, Dilthey completely opposes Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte के position के बिल्कुल against में जाके उन्होंने कहा कि हमें एक methodological divide create करना होगा. देखो, जिस मैटर को आप स्टडी कर रहे हो वो सेम है, दैट इज ह्यूमन लाइफ्स. यू वांट टू स्टडी ह्यूमन एक्शन. अब इन्हीं ह्यूमन एक्शन को आप दो तरीकों से पढ़ सकते हैं. एक पॉजिटिविस्टिक, जहां पे आप बस इन जनरल लॉज देखेंगे कि सब लोग कैसे बिहेव करते हैं क्या नहीं. द अदर टाइप इज दैट ऑफ social sciences, where you have to contextualize. For example, Indians might not be behaving the same way as the other people. So August Court is completely creating a methodological divide and telling us in form of Dilthey, who tells कि hermeneutics एक ऐसा हमारा methodology होगा जिसमें हम natural sciences apply नहीं करेंगे. In fact, natural sciences के जितने भी तौर तरीके हैं उससे completely अलग हो जाते हैं हमारे social sciences. You cannot use same methodology to study both. Okay, दोनों को स्टडी करने के लिए आप सेम मेथोडोलॉजी नहीं यूज कर सकते क्योंकि दोनों सब्जेक्ट मैटर बिल्कुल ही अलग है. So Dilthey goes ahead and tells us कि understanding is a category of human life. Human life is not something जो आप physics, chemistry की तरह, chemicals की तरह पढ़ेंगे. It's more about understanding कि सारे situation को हमें contextually समझना है. Okay, when human beings act, they act according to reading that situation where they are in. अगर मान लो कल मैं आपको किसी बहुत ही डेंजरस सिचुएशन में डाल दूं एंड देन कंपेयर टू अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू आर वेरी हैप्पी, विल यू एक्ट द सेम वे? यू विल नॉट एक्ट द सेम वे. हमारे दोनों एक्शंस अलग अलग कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बिल्कुल अलग होगा. Therefore, to understand our action, we have to know the situation first. Now, in this context itself, there is another concept within hermeneutics which is known as hermeneutic circle. अब ये hermeneutic circle क्या है? Hermeneutic circle is nothing but a concept which tells us that कि अगर आपको किसी चीज के totality को समझना है उसको अपने parts के through भी समझना होगा. If you want to read a book, you cannot read that book without reading its chapters, and without reading the whole book you cannot understand one chapter, right? So for that आपको पूरा text पढ़ना होगा, घुमा फिरा के आपको फिर से part by part भी पढ़ना होगा. Okay, now Dilthey goes ahead and tells us कि we are always running after understanding life expression. Life expressions are of three classes. Number one, जो हमारे judgments होते हैं, value judgments जो भी होते हैं. दूसरे होते हैं हमारे life actions. And finally, we have the lived experience, जो भी experiences हम live कर रहे हैं. This is not very important. You can learn it, but that's okay. All you need to do is to remember the crux of what Wilhelm Dilthey was trying to say. Also, do not forget, people, that Max Weber was largely inspired by Wilhelm Dilthey's methodology. In fact, Max Weber जो भी बोलते हैं about Verstehen हैं, about methodological sciences, ये सारी चीजें कहीं ना कहीं Dilthey से ही आ रही है. There is another person known as Gadamer, who is again a very important hermeneutic thinker. उन्होंने क्या कहा? What does Gadamer tell us? Gadamer tells us that if we take seriously the claim of understanding, then we are kind of restricting it. Therefore, जो हमें करना है is instead about universal hermeneutics, we have to start talking about not being very methodological. यानी कि वो बेसिकली ये कह रहे हैं कि जिस तरीके से नेचुरल साइंसेस में लोग मेथोडोलॉजी के पीछे भाग रहे हैं कि वैलिडिफिकेशन करना होगा, रेप्लिकेबल होना चाहिए, वैलिडिटी मेंटेन करना चाहिए, यूनिवर्सल होना चाहिए, जनरलाइजेबल होना चाहिए, ही सेज दैट वी शुड नॉट बी रनिंग अबाउट दैट. हम hermeneutics को इस तरीके से एक प्रॉपर फिक्स्ड कैटेगराइज करके मेथोडोलॉजिकल टूल नहीं बनाएंगे. वी वुड रादर मेक इट not as a methodology of social sciences. Okay, he was not trying to make it a methodology of social sciences. It is just an understanding, a way through which you understand. Now, his book's name is Truth and Method, just in case they ask you the book's name. There are several more books names in the end of this PDF as well. Now we come to another person, that is Habermas. Now, all of us have read Habermas in postmodernism, या फिर आप लोगों ने क्रिटिकल थियरी में हेबरमास पढ़ा होगा. But a lot of you people do not know that Habermas has a lot of important concepts when it comes to research methodology as well. And this is not something which is not important. It is a NET PYQ as well. NET में भी Habermas से related ये research का question आ चुका है. He says कि human sciences shows that human beings तीन तरीके के इंटरेस्ट अचीव करना चाहते हैं थ्रू दीज काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज. व्हाट आर दे? लेट अस सी. Okay, the knowledge constitutive interest of empirical analytical sciences is a technical control. First, let us read it and then I will explain you what they are. Okay, the knowledge constitutive interest of cultural sciences is practical. The knowledge constitutive interest of critical sciences is emancipation. इनका मतलब क्या है? So basically, he is telling us three phases of our lives, three kind of interests in our life, and we use different kind of knowledge constitution for them. For example, अगर आपको technical control चाहिए, tomorrow if you need technical skills, then you have to go through empirical analytical sciences like engineering and all the other applicable sciences. Yes. Number 2, he tells us if you have to learn about cultural sciences, अगर आपको culture के बारे में पता करना है, what you people have to do is being practical. आपको practical होना पड़ेगा अगर आपके आसपास के culture की चीजों को आपको पढ़ना है. तीसरा, ही says कि अगर आपको critical sciences पढ़ना है, you move beyond, maybe you are dealing with epistemology and these kind of issues, we tend to go through a kind of emancipation जहाँ पे हम knowledge acquired बस technical skill के लिए नहीं कर रहे हैं, but ultimate emancipation या फिर freedom के लिए कर रहे हैं. Okay. So generally in exam, in NET, they will ask you this question by giving you pairs. For example, empirical analytical is equal to technical, cultural is equal to practical, and critical is equal to emancipation. And then they might ask you whether ये इनमें से कोई गलत है या फिर सही है या फिर match the pair, etc. This kind of questions can be asked from this region. Okay. Now, the second concept that we see here is that about depth hermeneutics. What is this depth hermeneutics? You have to understand in detail. Okay. Now, depth hermeneutics is to contest Gadamer's concept of philosophical या फिर universal hermeneutics. Habermas का depth hermeneutics का जो concept है, it is exactly opposite to that of universal hermeneutics का topic given by Gadamer. यहाँ पे Habermas क्या बोल रहे हैं? He says that it allows that understanding the meaning of something that seems unfamiliar can come about when that unfamiliar action is placed in its historical and social context. अगर आपको कोई भी चीज नहीं पता है, let's say you do not know a social context something, you can do so by situation giving it a situation basically या फिर context. मान लो कोई भी चीज आपको नहीं पता है, you want to study about Indian festivals, but to know that you have to situate it in history कि historical perspective से इसके बारे में हमारा क्या idea है, social context में इसके बारे में हमारा क्या idea है, etc. etc. So depth hermeneutics only tells us that सारे meanings को पता करने के लिए उसका history and social context बहुत important हो जाता है, and this is also by Habermas. Now, we all have studied about discourse when it comes to Foucault. Yes? I think all of you have heard about discourse when you study Foucault. In that context, you have to understand a little bit more. What is Foucault trying to tell us through discourse? Discourse is nothing but prevalent knowledge system. Okay? कोई भी सोसाइटी का प्रेवलेंट नॉलेज सिस्टम को हम डिस्कोर्स बोलते हैं, ठीक है. However, there is another thinker known as Require who tells us that discourse can be of two types. One is spoken, another is written. A very important spoken discourse currently that is going on around us is Corona. सब लोग कोरोना के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. But we also have a written discourse. अब written भी शायद कोरोना ही हो चुका है. But what is it like? Let us see. In written discourse, unlike in oral conversation, the link between the author and the meaning of what the author has written, as well as the link between the meaning of what is written and the specific interlocutor to whom it is addressed is very, very clear. Written में क्या होता है? जब author लिख रहे होते हैं, he is not just writing his words, but he is also keeping in mind the understanding of the other people, कि बाकी लोग कैसे interpret करेंगे. Okay? However, in written discourse, we also see कि the human action is detachable from its author. काफी time author ऐसे सारी चीजें लिख रहे होते हैं जिसके बारे में वो खुद नहीं feel करते हैं. We have so many writings as such where it is beyond the relevant situation. People are writing about future, people are writing about past, and it can be of any time. Whereas in oral, this things gets restricted. You cannot talk about these things beyond the limit. Okay? Now, The next topic that we see here is comparative method. Comparative method is very, very important because in this we try to see certain important points. Let us try to tell you how. Comparative method देखते ही आपके पास दो चार नाम स्ट्राइक करना चाहिए. सबसे पहला is Emile Durkheim. दूसरा is Radcliffe Brown. And तीसरा is that of Max Weber. All these thinkers have understood society through comparative method. We will understand how it goes by, but in that context, जब मैं आपको इसके बारे में बता रही होती हूँ, you have to keep certain things in mind. First of all, what is comparative method? तो social sciences में क्या होता है कि आप direct laboratory में experiments नहीं कर सकते. We all know that in social sciences, we cannot do direct laboratory observations. Therefore, what people have found out a way, especially Emile Durkheim, he tells that what we can do is indirect experiment. And what is this indirect experiment? We are doing nothing but comparing different society. For example, when Durkheim is talking about suicide, when Durkheim's theory of suicide goes on, या फिर Brown के अलग-अलग हमारे ethnological studies, या Max Weber के different study of religion, what are these people doing? They are doing nothing but comparing different societies to give us a conclusion. Okay. So we have Emile Durkheim in France, Herbert Spencer in England, and Max Weber in Germany, who have compared different societies to tell us different things. Okay. Now, Durkheim in particular developed a methodological use of organic analogy in formulating a comparative approach to understanding social world. उन्होंने क्या किया था कि अगर in the study of suicide का हम लोग example ले, he has compared different societies, different categories of people and have told us what it is like. In the other way, we also see that this thing has been followed by Radcliffe Brown, and Radcliffe Brown's study is known as nothing but ethnology. Ethnology is nothing but comparative study of different societies. Okay, I think this portion is clear to you people as of now. Okay, just in case you people want a little bit more about Max Weber has also used comparative method. However, आपको question देखना होगा question में क्या पूछा जा रहा है. Last time in December paper, they had asked you कि who has given the concept of comparative social sciences. तो उसमें दो आंसर चूज करना था. उनमें से one was Max Weber, the other was Emile Durkheim. However, Max Weber का जो comparative method is limited to the study of religion and these kind of issues. Okay, now इसके बाद we move ahead to feminist methods. Now a lot of us know very less about feminist methods and people tend to get confused about these feminist methods. सबसे पहले आपको logic समझना है कि क्यों feminist methods जैसे study originate हुए. So there are several people, several names that you will find, including these. Number one, Patricia Hill Collins. Please note them down. There is Patricia Hill Collins. We have Donna Haraway and several more such thinkers who have pointed out this specific problem with methodological study. They have said कि sociology में लोग चीजें पढ़ तो रहे थे, but what was happening? What was happening is that people could not understand कि ये जो methodology है ये biased है. This methodology is biased. People are applying methodology which applies only to male understanding. सिर्फ और सिर्फ male understanding. Gender के बारे में कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है. Okay? Clear? Now, in feminist method, what they have pointed out basically is that the research design में men के experiences ही cope up हो रहे थे. They were trying to hold up only men's experiences. Okay? Now, one more thing that you people have to remember is that they were against a separation and reification of a division between public and private. So they were not trying to understand कि अगर आप methodology के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, there are two different phases. One is public, the other is private. Okay? Now, feminist sociology also tries to recognize the diversity of gender statuses. जैसे standpoint theory जब आता है हमारा, what do these people talk when they talk about standpoint theory? Standpoint theory is nothing but a kind of a methodology that everybody is not same, people are not living in the same situation, people are not experiencing the same thing. बाकी लोगों की चीजें अलग अलग होते हैं. Okay. Right. So if you do not understand anything, please ask me. Okay. Uh, let's see the next part now. I hope you people are getting it because I'm not able to get your messages for a while. Yes. Okay. Then there are no more doubts. Okay. Let's see the next part. So in this section, I have compiled certain important concepts. Let us see what they are. Number one is reliability. Reliability in research means nothing but consistency. इसको इन चीजों से फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कि आपका रिजल्ट कितना सही है कितना नहीं. व्हाट द मैटर इज अबाउट कंसिस्टेंसी, कि आपके जो भी रिजल्ट्स आए हैं वो सेम आए हैं कि नहीं. मान लो कोई आपका थर्मोमीटर है और थर्मोमीटर में कहीं ना कहीं हमेशा 2 डिग्री ज्यादा दिखाता है, बट वॉट एवर दैट इज, अगर आप हर रोज मेजर करके देखते हैं कि आपका टेम्परेचर 100 ही आ रहा है, सो डज नॉट मैटर दैट थर्मोमीटर माइट बी डिफेक्टिव बट इट इज कंसिस्टेंट, देयरफॉर इट बिकम्स reliable. Okay. On the other hand, validity is all about correctness या फिर accuracy. याद रहेगा आप लोगों को. Okay. Now, कार्क एंड मिलर बोल के दो हमारे ऐसे थिंकर्स थे जिन्होंने कुछ टाइप्स ऑफ रिलायबिलिटी के बारे में हमें कहा था. There are several types, but what you people have to remember is that of diachronic and synchronic reliability. Diachronic reliability is what which matches across time, and synchronic reliability is on spot, कि एक टाइम में सेम टाइम में आपके क्या क्या चीजें रिलायबल दिख रहे हैं. ओके. Correct. So these are just important ones to remember. And इसके अलावा I have also given certain examples as such कि validity refers to the accuracy of data. जैसे कि have the methods that I used color the result of my research. जो भी मैंने मेथड्स यूज किए हैं क्या वो मेरे आंसर्स एक्यूरेट दे पा रहे हैं या फिर नहीं दे पा रहे हैं. दोज थिंग्स आर एड्रेस्ड हियर. ओके. नाउ when there are other factors came in the way, what are these factors which are coming into the way, ये सारे questions validity check करता है. In short, अगर आपको याद नहीं रह रहा है, remember it this way. Validity simply means accuracy of your results, and the second point is that of जो आपका एम था. मान लो वॉट एवर योर एम वॉज, एम टू स्टडी, जो भी आपका एम था स्टडी करने के लिए, उस पे आप जुड़ रहे हो कि नहीं बेसिकली. ओके. नाउ the second topic that I want to touch upon, the last topic for today, is triangulation. Okay. Precise and accurate. Accurate means exactly whatever result you got in the previous time has to match with yours in the second time. Precise simply means it has to be near about to accuracy, not necessarily that it will be accurate all the time. Okay. So accurate is a very perfect word that we use for validity. We most of the time do not go beyond it. Okay. Now, what is triangulation? काफी time students get confused with triangulation. Number one, इसमें क्या होता है, multiple methods use होता है. कोई भी आप रिसर्च स्टडी कर रहे हैं, अगर उस पर आप लोग मल्टीपल मेथड्स यूज कर रहे हैं, या फिर जिसे हम कहते हैं बिटवीन मेथड, या फिर क्रॉस प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ ट्रायंगुलेशन मेथड. ओके. जस्ट गिव मी अ मोमेंट, आई विल बी बैक वेरी सून. ओके. राइट. सो ट्रायंगुलेशन में क्या होता है, जनरली दे ट्राई टू कंफ्यूज यू बाय गिविंग यू दीज कॉन्सेप्ट्स कि टॉपिक आपका अलग होगा कि नहीं. सेम टॉपिक आपको रखना है. लेट्स इमेजिन आई एम स्टडिंग जेंडर वायलेंस. मेरा टॉपिक है जेंडर वायलेंस. अभी इस जेंडर वायलेंस को पढ़ने के लिए मैं मल्टीपल मेथड्स यूज करूंगी. आई कैन यूज क्वालिटेटिव मेथड, आई कैन ऑल्सो यूज क्वांटिटेटिव मेथड, डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट आई एम यूजिंग. ओके. सो क्वालिटेटिव, क्वांटिटेटिव, कुछ भी मैं यूज कर सकती हूँ, दोनों यूज कर सकती हूँ स्टडी के लिए. जनरली ट्रायंगुलेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट क्यों आया था? बिकॉज पीपल रियलाइज्ड that reliability and validity is not possible in social sciences. That's the reason they are going with triangulation. Okay. Now, in this fashion, you are able to combine different methods and obtain a better picture. काफी टाइम ये होता है कि gender violence में अगर आप सिर्फ quantitative या qualitative कर रहे हैं, it gets very limited. So we don't want to limit that process. Okay. Now, Generally, surveyors use the technique of triangulation in their work. The theory behind the concept of triangulation is quite very simple. The aim is to obtain accuracy in the measurement between 2 points. Triangulation क्यों कहते हैं? Try to understand. इसमें क्या होता है, 2 पॉइंट से अगर मैं एक ही चीज को मेजर करूं, लेट्स से दिस इज माय पॉइंट, आई ट्राई टू मेजर दिस पॉइंट फ्रॉम दिस प्लेस एंड आई आल्सो ट्राई टू मेजर दिस प्लेस फ्रॉम दिस प्लेस. इसमें क्या हो रहा है, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन दिस एरिया, कि मुझे पता चलेगा कि 2 डायरेक्शन से अगर मैं कर रही हूं तो क्या मेरे रिजल्ट्स सेम आ रहे हैं कि नहीं. अगर मुझे पता चला कि यहां से मुझे ज्यादा डेटा मिल रहा है उससे कम, तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि मेरा स्टडी कहीं ना कहीं रिलायबल नहीं है. Therefore, to ensure reliability in social sciences, we do follow triangulation. Now, there are 2 types of triangulation. एक होता है methodological, दूसरा होता है theoretical, जिसके बारे में काफी students tend to confuse. So, please pay attention and understand what are these 2 types of triangulation. Number 1. Methodological में क्या होता है, हम 2 methodology use करते हैं. We can take the example of quantitative plus qualitative. Okay, now थियोरेटिकल ट्रायंगुलेशन में क्या होता है, वी यूज वेरियस थियोरेटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव्स इन स्टडीज. मान लो एक में मैं मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव यूज कर रही हूँ, उसी स्टडी में मैं फंक्शनलिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव भी यूज करके देख रही हूँ कि कैसे देखा जाए. फॉर एग्जांपल सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन को हम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट पर्सपेक्टिव से भी देख सकते हैं. वी कैन सी इट फ्रॉम मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव आल्सो. यस, सो आई गेस यू पीपल हैव रिमेंबर्ड दैट. नहीं, पर्सन सेम नहीं हो सकता. ट्रायंगुलेशन में पर्सन अलग नहीं हो सकता. सेम पर्सन सेम टॉपिक, बस आपके मेथड और पर्सपेक्टिव अलग हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, पर्सन अलग नहीं होना चाहिए. ओके, नाउ ऑर्लिनसन बोल के एक थिंकर है जिन्होंने कहा है कि कुछ हमारे एथिकल कंसिडरेशन के ध्यान हमें रखने होंगे. दैट इज प्रोटेक्टिंग द सब्जेक्ट फ्रॉम फिजिकल या फिर साइकोलॉजिकल हार्म. जब आप डेटा कलेक्ट कर रहे होते हो, यू कैन नॉट फिजिकली हार्म योर रिस्पॉन्डेंट. नंबर 2, सब्जेक्ट का प्राइवेसी एंड कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी रखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्रोटेक्ट द सब्जेक्ट अगेंस्ट अनजस्टिफाइबल डिसेप्शन. आप झूठ मूठ का बात बोल के अपने रिस्पॉन्डेंट से बातें नहीं निकाल सकते. नंबर 4, एक्वायरिंग इन्फॉर्म्ड कॉन्सेंट. ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि आप किडनैप करके नहीं ला सकते अपने रिस्पॉन्डेंट को. यू हैव टू एक्वायर दैट कॉन्सेंट फ्रॉम पीपल. ओके, These are certain names of important books जो आपको याद रखने हैं. That is Zygmunt Bauman का Hermeneutics and Social Sciences, R. Bernstein का Beyond Objectivism and Relativism, J. Blecher का Contemporary Hermeneutics, Paul Bruns का Hermeneutic Ancient and Modern, and J.L. Gordon का Introduction to Philosophical Hermeneutics. Generally ये हमारे नेट में बुक्स एंड ऑथर्स के टाइप से आते हैं. ओके, What is against research ethics? आपने पॉइंट आउट किया है. व्हाट इज अगेंस्ट? आई सेड एक्वायरिंग इन्फॉर्म्ड कंसेंट, यानी कि आप किडनैप नहीं कर सकते. यू हैव टू टेक परमिशन ऑफ द पर्सन एंड देन ब्रिंग इट इनटू द पिक्चर. आपको अगेंस्ट एनी जस्टिफाइबल डिसेप्शन, आप झूठ मूठ का बात बोल के नहीं ला सकते. सब्जेक्ट का प्रिवेसी कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी रखना है, उन्हें फिजिकल साइकोलॉजिकल हार्म से बचाना है. ओके, यस. लॉन्गिट्यूडिनल इज डिफरेंट. दैट्स अ गुड पॉइंट दैट यू पीपल सेड. लॉन्गिट्यूडिनल स्टडी में क्या होता है? Longitudinal study. In longitudinal study, what we do, we study the same topic, by same person, but in different time. मान लो 2000 में मैंने स्टडी किया, फिर 2005 में फिर से I will study this village, फिर 2010 में, फिर 2015 में. Okay, that is how it happens. Clear? Yes. So that was all for today's class. I said I will leave you guys early today. So I hope you people have learned. The next class that we will have will be on social institutions. Okay. It will be day after tomorrow, 6:30. Social institutions का एक picture देखेंगे, caste, family, etc. from Indian context. Yes. All right. IGNOU PhD का class. This is not IGNOU PhD. I have been taking only from IGNOU Masters, MA content. Okay. Yes. All right. So thank you so much then. If you people liked it, do like the class. And if you have any more doubts, you can leave back in the comments. Okay. All right. Bye students. And I'll meet you all tomorrow. Tonight we do not have a 9 p.m. class.